Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Little Kings Nation. Sorry, it's been a while since I posted a video, so I'm going to be uploading this one to my channel. If you want to check it out, I will also be uploading this to Instagram and Facebook as well. I just want to touch on the game between the Oil Kings and the Medicine Hat Tigers yesterday on January 14th. I normally do a pre-game and a post-game video, but for this one I'm going to kind of do a post-game with a little bit of an intro for the game. So to tee up the game last night, Edmonton and Medicine Hat were both going in on tremendous hot streaks. Medicine Hat was going in with 17 consecutive wins. Edmonton was going in with 8 consecutive wins. So something had to give last night. Edmonton, although had 8-game winning streak, we also had the tiebreaker against Medicine Hat, winning 2 of the first 3 games head-to-head. So ideally, if the playoffs were to start today, Edmonton would be in the tiebreaker position if we had the same amount of points or wins. I'm going to say that I think this game would be the game of the year, considering how hot both teams are or were going into the game. As I mentioned, 17 straight wins for Medicine Hat, 8 straight wins for Edmonton going into the game. So something had to give, and it was probably going to be a good close contest, considering how these teams normally play against each other. So that's it for my intro to the game. Now I'm going to dig into some of the stuff that happened during the game. The first period, I want to say, is Oil Kings style. They come out of the gate, they pretty much dominate the first period and the second period. We gave up our first 2 shots against for Medicine Hat, and of course on their second shot of the game they end up tying it at 1. So that's not a good way to start the game. It reminds me of the Oilers when they had Skinner. The joke around here would be Skinner, first shot goal. So it reminded me a little bit of that last night, although it was the second shot for Medicine Hat that tied it up. Still 2 shots into the game, tie game. Not a good way to start. I want to touch on a terrific passing play in the second period that resulted in Edmonton retaking the lead 2-1. It was Landon Hansen to Max Curran to feed Caden Strader, who was open in front of the net. It was a terrific play. If you didn't see it, if you didn't see the game live or watched it on Victory Plus, you would not know what I'm talking about, but it was just a terrific passing play. Probably one of the best really passing plays I've seen all season from the team. It was just incredible. That gave Edmonton a 2-1 lead at that point. Now the game, if you did watch the game, then you would know what happened. If you didn't watch it, I'm going to keep you updated. The second period was stopped with 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. Dylan Dean ended up going into the boards quite heavily. It appeared that he was knocked out prior to his head hitting the ice. I don't know for sure, but from my vantage point, that's what it looked like. He got hit. He went into the boards to get the puck. Medicine Hat player came up behind him, gave him a bump, a check to the head, and unfortunately his head hit the glass and he fell on the ice, but it looked like from the hit that he was out prior to hitting the ice. Unfortunately, they had to carry him off with a stretcher. So that is why there was 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the second period when the referees and the teams, out of respect for Dylan Dean and the medical staff, stopped the game and just started the third period playing those 2 minutes and then having a 2-minute stoppage and then going into the third period. The good news is during the third period, the Oil Kings provided an update. Dylan Dean is fine. He was talking, but from the injury side, it looks like that he's going to be out long term, possibly month to month or week to week. Now, as a result of that hit, Medicine Hat ended up getting a 5-minute penalty, and that's where the wheels kind of fell off for Edmonton. After that 18-minute stoppage to carry into the third period where they started to play those 2 minutes and then went into the 20 minutes, it was during that 2 minutes and 3 seconds when Edmonton started their 5-minute power play, Medicine Hat ended up tying the game. Now, it's baffling to me how a team can have a 5-minute power play, a player goes down on a stretcher, and you play flat. You can't even get into the zone. Don't shoot the puck. Nothing like that. And in fact, you actually give up a shorthanded goal, which ended up costing Edmonton the game as we lost 3-2 in a shootout. So that 5-minute power play was just the turning point in the game. If Edmonton scores one goal for sure, if not two, they win the game. Turns out Medicine Hat wanted it more and ended up scoring a shorthanded goal. Overall in the game, Edmonton's power play was absolutely sloppy. There were multiple times they couldn't even set up. Multiple times they couldn't even get into the offensive zone. Now, when you go 0 for 6 on the power play, you're not going to win a game, especially if you have a 5-minute power play and you give up a goal rather than scoring a goal. At any level in this sport, you're not going to win a game if you can't score at least one on a 5-minute power play. It was bad. There was a lot of fans around me where I was sitting that were saying, shoot the puck. A lot of fans around me that were saying, come on, guys. It really was not good at all. The sad part is when you have a shot clock that reads 39-23 at the end of the game and you still lose. I mean, there were multiple factors that contributed to the loss. Number one is our power play, obviously 0 for 6, 5-minute power play, give up a shorthanded goal, terrible. Some of the calls probably were not great. Again, I'm not blaming the officials because the team has to take this loss and move on, but there were things that overall contributed to the loss. And I think the officiating contributed just a little bit. I mean, let's be honest, there were some really bad calls on Edmonton that gave Medicine Hat some power plays. I look at the first power play Medicine Hat got. The offensive guy had the puck carrying it into the offensive zone of Edmonton. And Mackenzie's stick appeared to touch the skate, didn't appear to trip him, but the player embellished. It looked like a little bit went down a little too easy, and the referees gave us a penalty. Thank goodness Medicine Hat didn't score on that power play, but still, that was a terrible call. The second power play Medicine Hat got was absolutely terrible. There was not even an Oil King within 15 feet of the player. He goes hard into the boards, and the referee gives another power play to Medicine Hat. It was quite obvious it should not have been called a penalty. no Oil King on that side of the ice, really, within 15 feet of that player. But it seems to me what the league is doing is they are catering a little bit to Medicine Hat, considering they won the WHL championship last year and went all the way to the Memorial Cup. So at the end of the day, I get it. The league wants to maybe help Medicine Hat get there again this year. But it's just the way that Medicine Hat plays. I think they need to pay the price for it a little bit. I mean, let's be honest, they are a very dirty team. I've seen a lot of games in the league playing the Oil Kings, and Prince George, when they were here last year, I thought they were dirty, but now that I've seen Medicine Hat play us a lot, they take the cake. They whine all the time. They play dirty. They like to do after whistle scrums, and it's not conducive to the game. I think the league really needs to take notice and put out a notice, per se, that any shenanigans like that, any dirty hits, automatic suspension, especially when your intent to injure a player is there. Clearly, with Dylan Dean going into the boards and getting stretchered off the ice, clearly that was an intent to injure from the Medicine Hat player. So I would hope the league looks at that video over and over again and decides that player needs a suspension, because there's no place for that in the game. But again, that's just my 2 cents on it. At the end of the day, we ended up losing the game 3-2 in a shootout, so our 8-game winning streak is now done. Medicine Hat, kudos to them. 18 consecutive wins, which is a franchise record now. The rematch is actually tomorrow night in Medicine Hat. That will be the 5th of 8 meetings. Now, both teams are essentially 2-2 against each other this season. Despite the fact that Medicine Hat has won 18 consecutive games, Edmonton still is only 2 points behind them for first place in the Eastern Conference. So again, tomorrow's game is going to be absolutely critical. It's the 5th of 8, as I mentioned. It's in Medicine Hat, 7 o'clock puck drop. I don't see Max Curran. For sure, Dylan Dean not going to be in the lineup. I don't believe Max Curran will be in the lineup. Who knows? He did go off injured. He did not return for the rest of the game last night. So it's going to be interesting to see what that injury is. It looked like it was a lower body injury. So, I mean, again, it could be day to day, week to week, depending on how severe it is. We have a lot of players out. A lot of good, talented players on our roster out of the lineup currently, so that's the bad news. The good news, however, for that is Edmonton is still finding ways to win despite those injuries. We've pretty much had those injuries all season long. They've just been rotating through our roster, it seems like. At the end of the day, Medicine Hat had a terrific goaltender in the net. Simcoe was also good last night. I watched the overtime period on Victory Plus, and Switzer made an incredible save that definitely would have won it for Edmonton. And then ultimately in the shootout, Medicine Hat won it again. But again, rematches tomorrow. Teams got to put that behind them. But the thing is, and I talk to fans through social media all the time, and the one constant thing that we all agree on is the power play needs to step it up. It's been dreadful, quite frankly. Probably the worst I've seen over the last couple of games. The power play, again, if you go into the playoffs and you are 0 for 6 on a power play, you're probably not going to win many games, and was evident last night. So the constant theme, get the power play going, and try and find a way to score. Be more creative. For goodness sake, shoot the puck. This is more of a message to the team. Shoot the damn puck on the power play, please. Be more creative. When you're just trying to pass the puck into the net or try and pass the puck into the offensive zone, it's predictable. It's stupid. It's not going to do much. Quite frankly, it's very stagnant. When you're just using the same three guys passing the puck around, it's quite easy to defend it. So I hope to see the power play better tomorrow night. I hope that we can finally, since Medicine Hat ended our win streak, I hope that we can end their historic winning streak tomorrow in Medicine Hat, and then return home on Saturday night for the Tri-City Americans. So let's see what happens tomorrow night. Let's hope that we can actually do something on the power play instead of this 0-4 garbage, and go from there. Anyways, that's it for this video. I don't know when my next video is going to be. Probably Sunday, which will touch on the Saturday game, because I did touch on tomorrow's game a little bit in this video as a pregame and a postgame thoughts from the game last night. So probably Sunday. Look out for that if you watch my videos. That's all for now.